Good morning, students. I am Anshu Batra, TGT English from KV number 1, Itanagar. And today we will discuss Chapter 4 from the Diary of Anne Frank, which is taken from class 10th First Flight book. Dear students, this is an autobiography of Anne Frank. And actually, this chapter is introduced from her autobiography from the diary of a young girl. Dear students, Anne Frank was a German-born Jewish girl, and she wrote this diary by hiding herself with her family and 7 friends in the secret rooms of her father Otto's office building due to the attack of Nazis when they had done atrocities on the Jewish people. She hid in Amsterdam as her father's office was in Amsterdam. She hid there for 2 years, and during that time she spent her time in creativity and writing diaries. She elaborated her knowledge and all the experiences which she had during that tough times she presented in her diary. Originally, she wrote this diary in Dutch language, and afterwards it was translated into many languages. Dear students, Anne Frank had faced a very severe disease, and that was typhus, which is a rickettsial disease in which she got some rashes in her skin and high fever, due to which she died. And before that, her sister Margaret Frank also lost her life. After that, her father got the diary of Anne Frank, and then he shared this diary, which became world famous and the bestsellers. So let's see the chapter. Dear students, the author Anne Frank feels that it is strange and unusual for her to write a diary because it is the first time she is doing it. She feels that in the future, no one will read about a young girl's past experiences. But then she puts these thoughts away and decides to write her thoughts. The author is feeling very lonely. Why? As she has no friends to talk to. You know very well, during the Nazis' attacks, she is hiding herself in her father's office in Amsterdam, which is the capital of Netherlands. She wants to give her need of friend a shape. Hence, she decides to name the diary as Kitty. The writer feels that the paper has more capacity to absorb thoughts rather than people who have low patience level. She has a good time with friends, but cannot share everything with them, as they are not true friends. She refers to her father as the most lovable, who presents her the diary on her 13th birthday. Dear students, here paper has more patience than people, as quoted by Anne Frank. She said so because the diary is a silent recorder of her thoughts. Non-judgment and patient the diary is. It would patiently let her fill up its blank pages with her thoughts, observation and comments without judgment, which makes Anne feel that the diary is a real friend of her. Listens her thoughts patiently without any complaints and judgment. On June 20, 1942, She mentions how her class is nervous about their results. The author says that the only subject she is unsure about is mathematics. She and her friend are trying to stop the students from making noise, but to no avail. All the students continued the noise. According to the author, about the quarter of the class should not pass, as they do not participate in any activities. Anne recalls how the maths professor is constantly irritated by her talkativeness. While talking in his classes, he gives her extra homework as punishment. The first punishment is to write an essay on chatterbox, which the author thinks as weird or strange. She imagines about the topic and decides to present concrete arguments in support of talking. She writes that she will try to better herself but cannot eliminate talking completely. The professor finds it funny or amusing, but allots another topic after she did not change her nature. Anne Frank writes that the topic is an incorrigible chatterbox, which refers to a habit that is difficult to change. Here, incorrigible means the behavior that cannot be changed. After keeping an eye on her, the professor gives her another topic. Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox, as a punishment. When Anne gets this work, she runs out of thought after writing 2 times on a similar topic, because before this also already 2 times her teacher had given similar topics, like the first topic was a chatterbox. Second time her teacher had given her the topic an incorrigible chatterbox, and third time the topic was quack quack quack, said Mistress Chatterbox. So she decides to write her third topic in the form of a poem and writes a satire, and luckily the professor takes it lightly. The professor recites the entire poem in front of the class, and the author talked uninterruptedly after this. Here, satire is a technique employed by writers to expose and criticize foolishness and corruption of an individual or a society by using humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule. Using a satire is a comical piece of writing which makes fun of an individual or a society to expose its stupidity and shortcomings. And Anne also used this technique to write her poem. So in this way, in the story from the diary of Anne Frank, we can conclude that a young student needs to talk and feel joyous in order to stay mentally fit. In this way you saw that in spite of having such tough time, how Anne Frank made her busy in writing her diaries, which just made her mentally fit. Presently, we are also facing a global pandemic, COVID-19, due to which students are not able to meet anyone. Children may feel mental sickness during this time, so you should learn a lesson from Anne Frank. You should also make yourself busy in some creative acts so so that you can stay mentally and physically fit. Hope you have understood the chapter. Thank you very much for watching the video.